Hey everybody, Chad Aslow here, host of Our Native Land through Czech Podcast Studios in Victoria, British Columbia. Next week's guest is Teoni Spathelfer, and she is a local Indigenous author. She's out of Sooke, and she wrote this fantastic book, Little Wolf. It's a beautiful young children's novel, and we're going to talk to her about the book and the story behind it and her journey up into this point in writing this book. So let's take a small look at our conversation.
So on the book, you touch obviously quite extensively, at least for a children's book. You talk quite extensively about racism and being bullied, in the school system. It might seem kind of like a weird question, but what age do you think it's important, or what age do you think is appropriate to talk about to your child about racism? It's a big thing, and so at one point, and how do you deal with it, and do you think your book is addressing that in the way that could be helpful to parents?
I think it's never too early. Growing up First Nations, I heard the stories of my mom's experiences in residential schools, and with my own daughters, I made sure that they not only knew that history and our First Nations history in BC, but also First Nations history across North America and many oppressed cultures around the world. I kind of made it my mission. And so I feel it's never too early. I feel you can relate racism to age-appropriate groups quite easily, and I've done that in schools. Mm-hmm. Just last week, I did a Zoom call to grade 3 class from Surrey, and definitely not too early to start with them. I started with my kids even earlier than that. Mm-hmm. So if you're there and you're providing the emotional support they need and providing age-appropriate information, start whenever you can.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So you launched this book during a pandemic, just shortly after a lockdown, so I want to know a little bit about that process, because one, I find during the pandemic, people are doing things that maybe they've thought of and never thought of doing, and then all of a sudden they have this free time, and, you get this book out. And then two, you get this book out, and one of the most amazing things I find when you're releasing something is you want to release it, you want to be in person and do a book launch. I'm not trying to depress you about this, because I'm sure that was something you really wanted to do, but tell me about this. What was it like?
Well, first off, this book was supposed to be out last September, but because of COVID and another detail, the book was set to launch this May instead. So before COVID, I had dreams of having a book launch in Victoria, Vancouver, and the Sunshine Coast. Yeah. And I have great, family connections, community connections in those areas. And now because of COVID, I can't do that. So it was very disappointing. Mm-hmm. It's taken me a while to get over that and trying to figure out what I want to do.
I'm sorry to put salt in the wound. I wanted to know.
Of course. I mean, how can you avoid it?
All right, there you have it. Just a small preview of my conversation with Teoni. If you want to listen or watch this full episode, it airs this Monday morning wherever you get your podcast, or you can watch it on our YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The easiest way to get all the links is to go to www.czechnews.ca/ONL, and there you can find all the links for everything you need. Don't forget to rate the show, share it, write a review, share it with all your friends. Thank you so much for supporting, watching, and listening to Our Native Land.